各位记者朋友
Friends from the media, good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. Now the floor is open.
总台华语环球节目中心记者提问：今天上午，外交部网站
This morning, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs put on its website the decision to take countermeasures against member of Japan's House of Representatives, Kaiji Furuya. Can you share more information on that? The Taiwan question is at the core of China's core interests and a right line that must not be crossed. China has lodged serious protests with the Japanese side over the visit to China's Taiwan region by Kaiji Furuya, member of Japan's House of Representatives. Despite repeated statements of China's position regarding Japanese leaders' erroneous remarks on Taiwan, Kaiji Furuya failed to check and stop its wrong behavior and continued to collaborate with Taiwan independent separatist forces for provocative moves, which seriously interfere in China's internal affairs and violate China's sovereignty and core interests. In response to his egregious moves, and in accordance with anti-foreign sanctions law of the People's Republic of China, China announced in its decree of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs countermeasures against Kaiji Furuya. As a decision of deterrence and warning, China will also take other necessary countermeasures in light of the situation.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
Question for Anadolu Agency. A UN peacekeeper killed and another critically injured in Israel's artillery strike in southern Lebanon on the weekend. UN Secretary General strongly condemned the incident. What is China's comment? Thank you.
中方强烈谴责针对
China strongly condemns the attack against the UN interim force in Lebanon. We mourn for the life lost and our hearts go out to the injured. Any deliberate attack against UN peacekeeping personnel amounts to a grave violation of international humanitarian law and UN Security Council Resolution 1701. The attack is unacceptable and must stop at once. China urges relevant parties to immediately take measures to de-escalate the situation and take concrete measures to ensure the safety of UN peacekeeping personnel.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。中国新闻社界提问：海南自由贸易港上周迎来封关满100。
It has been just over 100 days since the Hainan Free Trade Port started special customs operation. The world's youngest free trade port has been widely praised for its high standard performance. Would you like to comment on this and have more information to share? The Hainan Free Trade Port is to serve as a key platform, championing openness, cooperation, and innovation. The past 100 days or so since its debut has witnessed some impressive progress. With institutional opening up as the main engine, Hainan has been seeking growth through openness and openness through connectivity, turning into an important economic hub and platform for innovative cooperation in the domestic and international dual circulation. With the implementation of policies such as zero tariffs and low tax rates, Hainan has seen rapid increase in tourist arrivals, cargo flow, and the number of enterprises. Visa-free inbound tourists increased by 54.2%, foreign trade grew by 32.9%, 739 new foreign-founded enterprises were established there, up by more than 30%. The past 100 days or so is just a prelude. As a vivid example of China's institutional opening up, Hainan will create opportunities through opening up, meet challenges through innovation, and write new stories of success together with the world.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
Question for Ataji. The Japanese ambassador in Brazil said in a recent interview that Japan is willing to settle its diplomatic strain with China about Taiwan and stabilize the relationship between the countries. Is the Chinese government open to start a dialogue about this issue with Japan?
台湾问题是中国内政。
The Taiwan question is China's internal affair, and the One China principle is the political foundation of China-Japan relations. Dialogue should be conducted on the basis of mutual respect and adherence to consensus. One cannot demand dialogue on the one hand while undermining China's core interests on the other hand. Japan should reflect on and correct its mistakes, abide by 4 political documents between the 2 countries and its own commitment, and demonstrate sincerity for dialogue through concrete actions.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
发言人好，环球时报记者提问。据报道，3月24日至27日，外交部举办了弘扬多边主。
It's reported that from March 24th to 27th, the MFA hosted an international symposium titled Upholding Multilateralism, Advancing Arms Control Diplomacy. Can you share more details? From March 24th to 27th, the MFA held an international symposium on upholding multilateralism, advancing arms control diplomacy in Beijing, along with a visit to decommissioned nuclear facilities. This is China's move to advance the Global Governance Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, support the role of UN in the field of arms control and uphold international arms control system. Participants engage in in-depth discussions on upholding multilateralism in arms control, the review conference of the Treaty of Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, governance of emerging technologies and the rights of developing countries to the peaceful use of technology. The discussions helped enhance mutual understanding of each other's arms control policies, deepen strategic trust, and inject new impetus into international arms control process.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
Thank you, spokesperson. A question for Anadolu Agency. Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar raised the possibility of hosting talks between US and Iran to end the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. After a meeting of top diplomats from Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt and Saudi Arabia in Islamabad on the weekend. He said both Washington and Tehran expressed their confidence in Pakistan to facilitate the talks. What is China's position about this possibility of negotiations between the conflicting parties in the Middle East? Thank you.
中方支持一切
China supports all efforts conducive to de-escalation and resumption of dialogue and calls on relevant parties to start peace talks as soon as possible. We commend Pakistan for its efforts for de-escalating the tension. We support it to continue, act in a mediator, and stand ready to work with Pakistan and other parties to strengthen communication and coordination to jointly work for an end of hostility and safeguarding regional peace and stability. Next one, please.
A question from AFP. Air China has resumed flights to North Korea, and I would like to ask the Foreign Ministry, when will Chinese tourists be allowed again to travel to North Korea? Thank you.
The relevant department has released information. I can tell you that the 2 countries are close neighbors. The resumption of air travel will facilitate people-to-people exchanges between the 2 countries.
Thank you, spokesperson. A question from Reuters. The foreign ministers of G7 nations met last week to discuss the situation in Iran and the region. In their statement, they urged an immediate cessation of attacks against civilians and civilian infrastructures. But in that statement, they did not mention calling off attacks on all targets. Does the ministry have any comment on this statement? Thank you.
Military means will not solve the root cause. the conflict and escalation of conflict serves no one's interest. China opposes attacks against civilians and civilian infrastructure. We once again call for an end to military operations and start peace talks as soon as possible to prevent further humanitarian disasters.
下一个问题。
Another question for Anadolu Agency. US President Donald Trump said Cuba is next. After the military operation against Iran, Cuba will fail soon. What is China's comment?
中方一贯主张尊重各国的主权和领土。
China always advocates the respect for all countries' sovereignty and territorial integrity, opposes the use of threat of force in international relations, and opposes infringement of other countries' sovereignty and interference in others' internal affairs. China firmly supports Cuba in upholding national sovereignty and security and opposing external interference.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
Question from AFP. This is on Donald Trump's claim that a deal with Iran on ending the Middle East conflict could be reached soon, while at the same time not ruling out ground operations as well as more strikes, including ones targeting power stations. Would China's foreign ministry like to comment on this? Thank you.
中方已经多次强调，
China has stressed that for a conflict to drag on, it serves no one's interest. Only by starting negotiation can we prevent further loss and prevent the further spillover and spread of the conflict. We urge all parties to show sincerity, seize every opportunity and window for peace, start peace negotiation as soon as possible to bring an early end to the conflict that should not have happened at the first place.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
Thank you, spokesperson. Question related to Trump and Cuba. Trump said on Sunday night that he has no problem with a Russian oil tanker off the coast of Cuba delivering oil to the island. Trump said, and to quote him, "If a country wants to send some oil into Cuba right now, I have no problem, whether it's Russia or not." So our question is, has Cuba already sought oil relief from China? And is China willing to help Cuba? Thank you.
中方敦促美方立即停止
China urges the U.S. to immediately stop the blockade, sanctions, and all forms of pressure and coercion against Cuba, and China will continue to do what it can to provide assistance to Cuba.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
Thank you, spokesperson. Another question again from Reuters. The foreign ministers of G7 nations. Oh, sorry, I've already asked that question. My third question is about the U.S. senators in Taiwan. We would like to seek a comment on this visit by 4 U.S. senators who are in Taiwan right now. How does China view their visit coming ahead of the expected visit by Trump to China? Also, this morning, China has announced these sanctions against a Japanese lawmaker. Would China similarly sanction the 4 U.S. senators? Why or why not? Thank you.
中方一贯
China firmly opposes official interactions between the U.S. and Taiwan region and has lodged serious representations with the U.S. side. The U.S. should adhere to the One China principle and the 3 China-U.S. joint communiques, handle the Taiwan question with prudence, stop all forms of official interactions with the Taiwan region, and stop sending any wrong signals to the Taiwan independent separatist forces. It should take concrete actions to maintain overall China-U.S. relations and the peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. China's position on the Taiwan question is consistent and clear and will take necessary measures to safeguard its territorial integrity and sovereignty.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Any other questions?
Hi, from Bloomberg News. We understand that China has exported cargoes of diesel and other fuels to other energy-starved countries across Southeast Asia over the past week. Was this a sign of support for those economies in the middle of the Middle East crisis? And does China have an update on what it plans to do to support other countries?
Affected by situation in the Middle East, there's a supply shortages in the global commodity markets such as energy and chemical fertilizers. China stands ready to maintain communication with relevant parties and work together to address energy security challenges and maintain energy security. But to solve the issue, first, there should be a stop to military operation. On the specific issue you mentioned, I have nothing to offer at the moment. I'd refer you to competent department and relevant Chinese companies. Next one, please. Other questions? This concludes today's press conference. Thank you all.